I got the easy dish tonight. So fish dish, easy dish. I'm so excited. It's such a big part of my life. I love fish. Just gonna grab the fish. Sesame oil. So Tanya, you're going to give us the lesson on enlightening us about the benefit of fish and the symbolism and anything else, any other reason why this is such an important part of your Lunar New Year celebration.
Yeah. So for fish, in Chinese, we have a saying called 零零鹞鱼, and it's a symbolism for surplus or abundance. And so it's kind of a symbolic dish of wishing for prosperity and abundance for the upcoming year. And so with fish, you can definitely have different versions of fish. In my household, sometimes we use tilapia. Sometimes if we want to splurge a little bit, we might use rock cod. And then what Danny has done here, she's just done a few slits into the fish to help it cook a little bit better. And so at home, you could slice your ginger and your aromatics every which way. And then you will find that when you go to different households, they might chop their garlic or their ginger or their green onion differently. And it's very interesting to see how it is. But what I love about it is that there's things like cilantro, the green onion, the garlic, the ginger. And at home, we use things like white pepper, sesame oil. You can use some cooking wine, and that adds a lot of different flavors to the dish.
So I'm just kind of doing it, not maybe your dad's style, but my style of just using the same plate as the fish was on. And I'm
a chef.
I've taken charge and carving my own path here. And so I've got the aromatics. I've got ginger, garlic, shallot. What else have I got? All the kind of the aromatic flavors. Ginger, I said, yep.
You've got the green onion. I forgot in my thing.
Yeah.
As you went to grab it, I realized I didn't cook it. If you were cooking along,
it's never too late for green onion. It's always a good time.
It's going to give you a good flavor, but don't forget the green onion when you make the noodle.
That happens to me 100% of the time during the week. I'll make a dish and I'll forget a certain.
I saw it as I saw Danny go for it.
Yeah, so I'm stuffing the fish grooves, right, that I have made with these aromatics. Now, if you wanted to, if you have a whole fish, you could stick some more in the belly. It's totally up to you. It just gives it more flavor. What these aromatics have, the ginger, the garlic, the green onion, right? Onion, they're loaded with antioxidants. So it's just a great fighting system for, all the stuff that builds up in our body. So these are really important, really highly potent ingredients and a great flavor palette as well. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my little bowl here. I've got my sesame oil. I'm going to add some sugar. Sugar is a nice balance. It offsets flavors. That's why everything has just a touch of sugar. It's totally optional though, if you don't want to use it. I've got a bit of soy sauce.
I'll give you that. So you can mix.
And I'm going to mix it up. And then I'm going to get some chilies if they're somewhere around, and I'm going to chop those up. Those are amazing. You don't have to use chilies. They're really, really spicy. But if you like a bit of spice, put the seeds in too. Put the seeds right in there.
I was going to say you can cut out the seeds too if you don't want it too spicy. You can take out those seeds.
I love my spice. So I'm just chopping it, again, just getting all my anger out on the poor chili. Actually, what I'm doing is releasing a lot of great spice and flavors.
And again, so we use that hot from the chili is also going to add more flavor without adding any extra salt. So
wonderful.
Lots of ways that we can add flavor without using salt.
Absolutely. Perfect. So I'm just going to wash my hands, and guess what? We're going to use the pan that's right over there. We're not going to do a new pan. We're just going to reuse.
Yep.
So we can just get that on the heat.
And what I love about fish is it's so versatile. You can make it in so many different ways.
So true.
And it doesn't take very long to cook. And so in my household, what we usually do is we steam the fish as well. And a quick tip for that, if you are going to steam your fish, usually there's a little bit of kind of juice that comes out of the fish. you want to change the plate.
Mhm.
So you want to take the fish away from that juice and then put it on a separate plate. And we actually heat up a bit of oil and then until it's very piping, smoking hot. And then we just drizzle that over the fish to give it a sizzle.
Oh, wow.
And then you can saute your aromatics
Oh,
and then your soy sauce mixture on top. And it is delicious.
so tell me a little bit about why the whole fish is used instead of, like a fillet. Why would traditionally whole fish be used?
Well, traditionally we would use the whole fish, nose to tail, and then it does symbolize kind of the surplus and abundance. But at the same time, whole fish is often a bit more expensive. And so there's nothing to say, there's no rule in the kitchen. That's what I love about it. We're taking the flavors of Lunar New Year and we're making it kind of what it is. The beauty of it is that nothing needs to be truly authentic. Does it taste good? Is it easy to make? Is it within your budget? Those are all great keys to good nutrition.
Right.
Yeah.
Excellent. And, this is trout that I'm using here. It's very good for omega-3 fatty acids. It's a great kind of heavier fish, as we were talking about. So
Yeah.
it's got a lot of body to it, but you could use bassa, you could use tilapia.
You could use rock cod, which would be a little bit more expensive, but
Yep,
then
right.
it would be like the texture of the fish would be a little bit different. And you could try it with you could try this flavor profile with different fish.
Yeah, you could do it with salmon in the oven, right? If you wanted to, or
It might just be, this is just one way of making fish, but there's so many different ways that you can do it. And then with the soy sauce, and then I guess you've noticed a bit of a pattern. You see sesame oil
Yes.
3 times over now.
Amazing.
And then if you haven't tried it, you got to get your hands on a bottle.
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah.
It smells amazing. And it's got, again, really great oil properties. It's a really great oil for heart health. So yeah, definitely worth it to have some on hand.
Yeah.
Now, sesame seed oil, I understand it does, when it gets exposed to light, go quite rancid. So you have to make sure it's in a darker bottle. And
or
also maybe put it in the fridge.
It hasn't actually, I mean, I guess I go through it so quickly.
Yeah. Yours doesn't go bad, right?
Yeah,
That's
it
great.
doesn't.
That's great.
But yeah, it's funny. My dad, he has a whole canister of it. So I have the clear bottles. And so he's just like, my dad's very cute. He's just like, have you run out?
He stalks you.
Have you run out? Because I'm going to,
He's your sesame seed dealer.
Yeah.
Push
Yeah. He's
I
a
love
little
it.
sesame oil fairy. He's just like,
I love it.
do you have enough soy sauce? I don't know if your parents are like
That's
that.
love. That's gotta
love.
be. That's love.
Yeah. And so speaking of love, the way that we sometimes greet each other is just like, oh, have you eaten yet? It's like, 得饭没? And so that's kind of a symbol of love.
Aww.
And in my household, I mean, pomelo is also a gift that you might give to somebody in your family during New Year's. And love for my mom is she'll peel everything and then she'll put it all in containers. So it's just pomelo. You just take a fork. And
That is love,
That is
because
love.
My
anybody
mother did
who's
that to the
peeled a
kids.
pomelo
Yeah.
knows that it is a labor of love
Yeah.
and takes a lot of time. You have to cut each segment out. So
yeah.
I appreciate that from your mom, and like it when my mom does
Yeah.
that too.
And we just like, when you want to greet somebody and do something nice to someone else, we cut up fruit
Yeah.
for them.
Then you know they're going to eat it too, right?
Yeah.
So my final pièce de résistance is to pour this dressing on top. Oh my God. This is great.
Oh, smells
Oh,
good.
it smells amazing. And the fish is happy. Like that's a happy fish. I know it looks a bit kinked in there, but it's happy. It's loving life right now. It's going to be delicious.
Yeah. And I like that whole fish. I mean, we talked about that it's less expensive, but I feel like that's going to be less likely to overcook too, because you've got all that fat and that skin and everything else going for it.
Absolutely. It's like a parchment paper, you know, how you would wrap fish in parchment paper to protect it moisture wise. This is all in one. So brilliant.
Yeah. And speaking of maybe more economical cuts of fish, it's that it doesn't have to be fillets. Fillets are usually more expensive. In my household, we also eat other parts like the salmon belly, or some people who often eat at Japanese restaurants, you would eat salmon head or salmon jaws. And it's actually, the texture of it is actually much better than the fillet, and it's way cheaper as well. And an easy way that I like to cook for my toddler is we just broil it. We just broil it for 10 to 12 minutes.
Wow.
Some garlic powder, a little bit of oil, a little bit of pepper. He's happy.
Wow. That's amazing. Wonderful.
Yum.
Well, my fish is almost ready. Dinner is almost ready here. So we have time for maybe 1 or 2 questions, Teresa, and then we can wrap up.
So I did do the draw earlier, and I got number 14 and 21, which on my screen happens to be Stanton Dash and Rebecca Capperson. So if you guys would like to email me with your addresses, we will be happy to send you out one of the Come Cook With Us aprons. That's
Wonderful.
awesome.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Mhm.
And just a couple of things before we wrap. First of all, a big thank you from all of us to you for joining in. This has been an incredibly fun day for us, getting this together for you. Wishing you a happy, prosperous Lunar New Year, Year of the Rabbit. So jump high, go for those goals. And to actually ask you, please, to fill out the survey that's going to be emailed out to you. That will help us a lot as we plan for future cooking classes. So we really want to make sure you get your needs met. So please give us your feedback. We're really looking forward to it. And finally, I know Anya brought this up, but another reminder that the two of us are going to be cooking again for you on March the 8th with the Kidney Foundation of Canada's Patient Forum. So I hope that you will join us. And thank you so much for taking the time tonight to be here in my kitchen. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.